Hello, viewers. I let me close that vent. I was going to do like a sit down type of video, like in the car or something. So I figured, the house is quiet, no one's here. Take this opportunity and talk. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to explain my side of the story. I have this platform for a reason, and that is to share and simply tell the truth and my experience. My husband's supposed to be the one to stand up for me, but because he doesn't stand up for me, I have to stand up for myself. And I'm tired of looking like the bad guy. When I make videos about my mother in law, they are experiences that I have experienced. It is an experience that I am currently going through. I have made, I think, two or three videos stating um, that the toxicity in my husband's family is disrupting our marriage. And it is the truth. So now let me explain myself the story. Why are you doing this? I'm not doing this to embarrass anybody. I'm doing this to um, explain and stand up for myself, basically. Stand up for myself because I am just tired of people thinking that I'm the bad guy. For example, family member have come up to me, and not my family, Craig's family, have come up to me and said stuff like, excuse me, oh, I've always liked you, stuff like that. Or I would say something and I would just the word the gossip on Craig's family is that I put his mother out. Okay? That is the gossip. I did not put her out, ladies and gents. And for Craig's family members, I did not put that woman out. When I met Craig, his mother lived in Jamaica. And I never saw her until, I never met her. I saw a picture of her, but I never met her until she came to visit us during my 9th month of pregnancy. My 9th month when I was pregnant with Christopher. I'm going to try and make this as basic as I possibly can. I'm not trying to make it extra or anything of the kind, okay? I'm just speaking my truth, y'all. I'm not about to sit here and lie and add any extra stories in because I'm just sick and tired of the shit when I post a video and my husband wants to come home and be upset with me and because of his mother feeling bad or his family getting upset because I'm posting the truth, okay? So I'm standing up for myself. I'm setting the story clear and I'm going to do my best to stay in chronological order so you can understand. Because I'm tired of looking like the bad guy. I'm tired of the misconception. I'm tired of the manipulation. Okay. When I met before Christopher was born, Craig told me his mother never got a chance to raise him because she worked a lot. When I was pregnant with Christopher, when I was 9 months pregnant with Christopher, because I am a good, kind hearted person, I told my husband, I said, babe, let your mom come and stay with us, honey. This will be an opportunity for her to take care of her grandson, her first. Craig is her only child, of her first grandson, her first grandchild. Let her come and take care of him and let her live that experience she missed out on when you were younger. My husband told me, no, babe, you don't know my mom. You don't, it's okay. I said, no. And I'm going to try not to embarrass her, not to say negative things. But negativity, the truth hurts, y'all. The truth truly does hurt. And everything I'm about to tell y'all is going to be the truth. I'm not going to go in depth to embarrass anybody. So with that being said, I told my husband, let her come, let her, experience life in America, and also let her tap this opportunity to take care of her first grandson. She can relive this moment and she and her grandson can build a relationship. My mother-in-law came. At the time she came to stay with us, Craig and I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, y'all. All right? We had a pull-out couch that was gifted to us from a family friend, okay? And that's where she slept, out in the living room. When she came, my mother and I were not in a good relationship. My mother never came to any of my children's birth, all right? She was never there, including my home birth I had with Kristen. So for my mother-in-law to step in as a mom, it touched my heart. I was grateful that she was coming, and I could enjoy this experience with her and start something new that I witnessed my mom didn't have with her mother-in-law. Okay, so I was excited upon her arrival and everything, and the experience that I was going to go through with her, building something new, something forward. When my mother-in-law got to our home, we picked her up from the airport. Everything was great. Everything, she brought some clothes that Craig had worn, some memorabilia, I guess that's how you say it. Let me not try to use like heavy big words before I get sidetracked. But she brought some memorable stuff, memorable items like Craig sheets. And till this day, I still do have those items. Time went past. I was after I had Christopher, she was there. My mother-in-law showed me some things that my mom wasn't there to teach me. And I held on to those teachings and I expressed to her my gratefulness to her. I took my mother-in-law shopping. I catered to her. I served her because I'm African, okay? Growing up as an African, this is what we do. This is how we're taught. We're bred to serve, to give ourselves to our husbands, all right? And to our extended family members, okay? So when she came, I loved on her. I cherished her. I took her out wherever I did her hair because I was a cosmetologist. As time went on, I found a job and I started working. When I came home, my son will be in the same clothes and in the same place I left him in when I left for work that morning. I expressed to my husband these concerns. She will also curse in front of our son. At that time, I did not curse, y'all. I did not curse at all. I was in the Christian church. So I didn't curse. I was trying to be holier than thou, okay? So I didn't curse, and we asked her nicely not to curse. I remember one time my husband went to bed early, and she deliberately, I was holding Christopher, and he had pooped. And she came and she goes, "You shit? You shit? You shit? You shit." And I'm standing there like in disbelief because my husband just asked you or told you not to curse around our infant child. Christopher was about 3 months old, and that was one. I didn't say anything. I also expressed that to my husband, because I feel that that is my husband's mother. Let me take my grievance to him so that he can handle the situation as my leader. Okay? It didn't happen. I'm trying to see the camera is still going. It didn't happen. As time went on, my mother in law started doing some things that I didn't like. I will go to work, I will come home, and I would ask Mom. I used to call her Mom. "Mom, where's the food? Did you cook?" "No, I was waiting for you to come home and cook." Waiting for me to come home and cook? I just worked. I'm tired. I'm thinking you would have food. I will pick up my baby, clean him up, give him a bath, feed him because he would still be in the same clothes that I left him in, soil all, food all on his onesie, everything of the kind. I didn't say anything. I would express my concern to my husband as time continued to go on because when she came, she had a 6-month visa. At the time she came, we were trying to get her citizenship, and I will get more into that since you want to feel like I am the bad person and I have mistreated her. All right. Time went on. My mother-in-law started to rearrange my home. I will put stuff back the way that I wanted it to go. She will go behind me, turn around, and rearrange them the way I had it. That is gross disrespect. It is. She disrespected me in my home. When Craig and I got into arguments, she would get in and try to instigate it and try to make me say negative things about me. What else? What else did she do? What else didn't she do? She was not tidying. It's the truth. I'm not going to lie. She wasn't tidying, but I didn't say anything about it. I also I also expressed that to my husband. There were times where my mother-in-law Craig and I would have our door closed because in the apartment they don't have like the lock on the room door. It was one of those doors where you can lock it from the outside, but if you turn it, it can just open. My husband and I were in the room and we were foreplaying. He was eating me out, okay? And my mother-in-law, his phone was ringing in the kitchen. And I said, "Craig, get up, get up, get up. Your mom is going to come in this bar. She's going to come barging in this room. Get up." He said, "No, she's not." I said, "Yes, she will." By the time Craig got up and I could pull the covers over me, she came barging into our bedroom. Now tell me, as a grown adult woman, who acts like that? Now, what? We never had alone time, okay, Craig and I, because she were always coming with us everywhere we went. It wasn't a problem, But it started to become a problem when it will, when it's like you don't know your place. You understand what I'm saying? As an adult, because I'm looking up to this woman as a mother figure, okay? Supposed to give me advice and um yeah, I'm looking up to her as a mother figure. I'm not going to try to define it. If you know it, you know. I'm not about to like explain it. I looked up to her as a motherly figure, something that I did not have growing up. I looked up to her for it. And I sure did not get it, y'all. I'm trying to remember everything because it's been years. But I am tired. I am tired. I am tired. I am tired. I cannot even enjoy my marriage or have fun with my husband because I feel as though whenever she watched our videos, she called him and tried to create issues. You understand? So with that being said, um this is what broke the camel's back. Craig and I were getting ready to go to an event. I don't remember what it was, but I asked my mother in law, I said, no, no. I sat her down and I said, hey, mom, you know, no, I asked her, I said, mom, are you coming with us to the event? And she said, no, I'm not going. All right. I said, why not? Because it was a church event. And I said, why aren't you coming? She said, oh no, I don't want to go. All right, cool. I went to take my shower. When I took my shower, I went into the room to get ready. Craig comes into our room upset. His face is twisted up. I said, what is wrong with you? I said, a moment ago you were fine. What is wrong with you right now? And he goes, why would you tell my mom she couldn't come? What? What do you mean, why did I tell your mom she couldn't come? At that moment, I knew I was messing with the devil. Okay? I walk up to her. I said, that was evil. I said, why would you tell Craig that? Why would you tell your son I didn't want to come? I said, I came out here and I asked you if you wanted to go, and you told me no, you don't want to go. She didn't say anything. I said, that is devious. I said, that's evil. I said, why would you do that? She didn't say anything. She just walked away and walked into the bathroom. I went into my room. I closed the door and I got on my hands and my knees. And I told God, I said, God, I cannot do this. This is not me, Lord. I cannot do this. I cannot handle this. Please, Father God, get this woman out of my home. And immediately, I didn't scream it. I was quiet because I don't want to disrespect her. You understand what I'm saying? She turned around 5 minutes later. She said, you know what? No, because I said, behavior like that can destroy someone's marriage. I said, you don't act like that. So after I prayed my prayer, she came and she said, you know what? It is best if I leave because I don't want to destroy your marriage. At the time, she couldn't leave because she was there for 6 months. And if she was going to leave within that 6 months, it would have affected her visa status. She had already had her what is it called? Her residency, right? Where you can work and all that stuff and get your license and everything and drive and whatnot. She didn't want to do anything. She wanted us to do everything for her, you know? And in my mind, I'm thinking, what type of grown woman will want people to just be doing stuff for them? And that's not my character. I cannot sit and do something for a grown person, do everything as if they're a baby. It drives me crazy. That is not my character. I'm not like that. I don't like it. It drives me crazy. So we talked to a friend from the church, and it was a single mom. She had two kids at the time, and you know, I talked to her about, my mother-in-law staying with her. She said, "Yeah, that would be great." My mother-in-law went there. They had issues. All right, we had to get her back. So we brought her back to our home. We talked to my mom. She moving with my mother. They had issues. Okay. It wasn't like we're throwing her left and right. I wanted her to stay with us because that's my husband's mom. If I love my husband, I'm going to love my mother in law. And on top of that, the way I treated her. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was in a vulnerable place. My mom and I didn't have a good relationship, and I was pregnant. Okay. So when this woman came into my life, it was like, oh, I love you. Thank you. She taught me some things that to this day I still use. How I measure my rice is because of her. You understand? A teaching that I take off a teaching that I would carry on to my children so that they can know when you take off your nightgown, lay it next to your infant so that they can think that you're next to them. And that's what my mother-in-law taught me. That's teachings that I'm going to hold on to because I cherished it. I looked up to her and I loved her. You understand what I'm saying? So when it came down to it, there was nowhere else for her to stay. She wanted to stay with some family member in Jersey. Nobody knew of the family. Nobody knew the number, nothing of the kind. So the best decision that we could make at the moment was send her back to Jamaica. And we told her, we said, "Mom, look, you have to come back before the deadline for your visa status so that you can get your citizenship," because she had already gotten um the permanent residency information. So I said, call us. We're not going to call you, but you call us so that we can, you have to remind us. This is your responsibility. You remind us, and we will get everything on the back end handle, like her ticket, so that she can come and everything. We never got a phone call. She never said anything. All right, cool. Left it. Years down the line, I got pregnant with Kristen. I was about to have Kristen. No, before that, she doesn't call the kids. It was Christopher and Christina. I picked up the phone, I called her, and I voiced my concerns. I said, "Mom, I don't like how you're acting." I said, "These are your grandchildren. Call them. If we have issues, let it be between me and you. But these are your grandchildren. Call them, okay? Don't hold whatever it is that we have going on, keep you from talking to them." She said, "All right." She talked to the kids that day. I was pregnant with, that was it. I don't even think she called again. Um, I was pregnant with Kristen, 9 months pregnant. I called her, and when I was sitting on the ball, I will never forget. I was sitting on the ball, rocking, and I was having contractions. That night I gave birth to Kristen. But I was sitting on the ball, and I had called her, and she goes and she says, we're talking. She said, "Uh-huh." No, she picked up the phone. She said, "Uh-huh, you called me. You need help again." I said, "No, I was just calling to see how you were doing." And from that day on, I didn't call her until years later. We moved into this house. I told my husband, I said, "Babe, when will your mom come and visit and see where you live, what you have done, your accomplishments, our accomplishments?" And he goes, "I don't know. My mother's stubborn." I said, "Call her and just force her to come and visit, you know?" And Craig asked me, "Well, how long can you stomach her for?" I said 2 weeks. I said, "Babe, I cannot do the 2 months. I mean, the 6 months thing." I said 2 weeks will work perfectly fine. The six and nothing more. And he goes, okay. I never heard anything else again. I asked him about it. He said, you know my mom, she's stubborn, she's not gonna come. I left it. I didn't say anything else. Years later, about 4 or 5 years ago, I still put, I'm pretty sure I'm missing a whole bunch more stuff, but I'm just giving you the basics, okay? But 4 or 5 months ago, I said, you know what? Again, let me put my pride aside and be the bigger person. You understand? Because I don't hold on to stuff. That's not who I am. I'm not a fussy person. I just like peace, y'all. The, the way y'all see me with my kids, that is exactly how I am. I'm fun, I'm laid back, I'm chill. You haven't seen a person like this. Maybe you guys not used to a person like this, but this is me. This is me, y'all. I'm a loving hearted person. Do you hear me? 5 months, 5 years ago, it was Christmas. It was when we were celebrating Christmas. I put, I don't even want to cry. I don't want to make myself cry. I'm more so pissed off because I cannot enjoy my fucking marriage because of what she does. 4 months, 4 to 5 years ago, it was Christmas. Craig was talking to his mom again. She doesn't call the kids on their birthdays. She would send texts and that's it. And Craig will call her so she can talk to the children. And I told him to stop doing that because you don't have to, the children don't have to, talk to her. If she doesn't call, that's on her. It is her responsibility to call. Don't be calling her and letting our children talk to her. That's not right. Let her make the effort. You understand? She would send text messages. So this day, Christmas Day, he was talking to his mom. He called her. I said, you know what, LaShare, just put it all down. And I did. I said, babe, get in the phone so I can talk. Craig was shocked. He was like, all right, here. I said, hey, I didn't know what to call her at the time. So now I say, Grandma, you know her name. Grandma Nan. So I said, I said, hey, Grandma, and she was like, hi. I was like, Merry Christmas. She goes, yeah, same to you. I was like, how's Christmas doing? How are you guys doing? Are you enjoying your Christmas? Yada, yada, yada. And that was it. Respectful. And that was it, y'all. And I never got a call back. Nothing of the kind. I did not do anything to my mother-in-law. And if I did, I apologized when we had our miscommunication, I wouldn't say when we had miscommunication, when she was being disrespectful to me and disrespecting me in my home, okay? And when I went to my husband, even though he regrets it this day, he didn't stand up for me. You understand? But I did nothing to you, Nan. You are mean. You are mean. You are evil. And you have to stop your ways. Because what I said, there was another time. Craig is not your husband. Craig is your son. He is married. He has a wife and children. And the way you act is affecting our marriage. Understand that. But you know what? I left it. I left it alone. And I'm praying about it and let God handle it. Because there is nothing that I can do. I made my video so that I can clear my damn name out of your fucking mouths. Okay? This is why I'm making this video. So you don't look at me as if I put her out. She was rude and she was disrespectful to me. And I do not appreciate it. I did not disrespect her. I did not throw her out of my house. I prayed her out of my home. There is a difference, man. I didn't tell her, get the step and get out. Don't ever come back. That's not my character. That is not how I operate. Okay? I'm a very respectful person. And that's why they don't like me, because they think that I put her out. But I did nothing to your auntie. And then Craig's cousin wanna come on my page, come to my take my auntie's name out of your mouth. Let me tell you something. I prayed for you to get married, sis. I did. I did nothing to you. You and your boyfriend came to my home. Came to my home. So he can see the type of family that you have. But go and introduce him to your other. You know what? You have already married him. But at the time y'all came, you brought him here to just show him the type of family that you had. You understand? And that day you insulted me just because I asked if you guys were going to get married. And you said something about my big old forehead. That is disrespectful after I have taken care of y'all, cooked for y'all, served y'all, cleaned my house for y'all to stay in my home and sleep. And you don't like me? Because of what? Because of what? Because of what? You don't like me because of what? You saw your cousin, how your cousin treats me here and there. Instead of you being an older cousin and being smart and sensible and wise and saying, hey, Craig, that is your wife. From what I've seen, she loves you. Take care of her. Treat her right. You understand? You want to come under my page, my channel, and disrespect me, all right? And tell me what type of normal person or sane person would act the way that I do. I should take your auntie's name out of my mouth. Trust and believe. This is the last time your auntie's name will be in my mouth ever. Because I don't care. But today I had to stand up for myself. I had to talk because I'm sick and tired of Craig coming home because of something I posted. He's getting angry. And now if after this video, if Craig gets angry, Craig, that is on you. But I need you to be a man and stand up for me as your wife, bruh. Like for real. And quit sucking the fucking breast milk. Because they cut that shit off a long time ago. And when I say that, there are things that I've seen. We went to a church function, and Craig and his mom sitting there and rubbing on her son's leg. It did something to me. That's not something I would do to my married son when Christopher gets married. I would never do that. Not just that, when Craig used to come home from work, when we're in that one bedroom apartment, when he come home from work, Craig would not come in the room to me. He would go sit next to his mama, next to his mom. Do you know what that is? That is manipulation, man. That is called a stronghold over somebody's life. This shit is spiritual. It is spiritual. And what brought this all up was the fact that you don't call me, but Craig gets sent to the emergency room and you want to get upset talking about nobody called you. Who's supposed to call you? That's supposed to be me, right? That's supposed to be me. But you don't call me, so you don't talk to me. So how am I supposed to tell you? If we have a good relationship, first thing I'll call, hey mom, Craig isn't doing too well, let me put you on the phone. But I have learned how to treat my daughter-in-law. I've learned to respect my daughter-in-law. I've learned if I want to know anything about my son, call my daughter-in-law. Yes, my son now will still have a relationship. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? I'm just calling to check on you. You treating your wife good? I know she's treating you good. I know everything's good. Hey, mom, we're not doing too well. No? Go talk to your wife. But you be respectful to your wife. That's how stuff go. Hey, how the kids doing? You don't talk to grandma and grandma call. That's how you do things. But it's okay. Not everybody's the same. I get that. So don't get mad when I don't call to tell you about your son's health issues. He's a grown married man that cut the umbilical cord years ago. That's not something I gotta tell you anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just clearing my name. Stop talking about me. Don't ask no questions about me, nothing. Stop hating me. For real. Stop hating me. Stop hating me.